What is up, everybody, and welcome back to your favorite place to talk movies. I'm your host, Luce, and this is Real Talk, off script. So today I'm coming at y'all with another one of my videos where I give you guys a preview of all the movies I'm looking forward to this month. Also the movies that I would suggest for you guys if I'm not personally looking forward to it. I'm giving you guys one for May, June, and today is going to be my one for July. And just to let you guys know, July is probably going to be the biggest month of the year this year for movies. Probably only rivaled by December later this year. So this is going to be a big one. There's a lot of movies to look forward to. Of course, we've gotten a lot of good ones this year so far, but July is going to be stacked. So I'm going to go down a list of all the movies that I'm either, like I said, looking forward to for this month or suggesting that you guys go out and see. So we're actually going to start this list with Millions and Monsters, which is actually out now. I'm actually recording this Friday. Well, you guys should be getting this today too. I'm hoping to put this episode out today. So Millions and Monsters, which of course is a movie from the Despicable Me franchise. That movie actually released Wednesday. So they were trying to get ahead of the holiday weekend, which a lot of films, end up doing their release on a Wednesday if the holiday is on a Friday or a Saturday or something like that, just so they can get that extra dollars because they know people are going to be off from work. So that's essentially what the Millions and Monsters movie did. I've talked about this one before. I think I talked about it in the episode where I went down all the reasons why I thought that this year would be, if not the biggest year in box office history, it would be second, probably second only to 2019. And Millions and Monsters is one of the movies that I felt like will release and make a shit ton of money, which I'm actually thinking that this one is for sure gonna do. Like I said, it's a holiday weekend, it's the summer, kids are out of school, parents are off from work. They're gonna take them to either see Toy Story, which came out 2 weeks ago now, or Millions and Monsters, which is brand new. And I think a lot of them are gonna pick that movie this weekend. And there's really nothing going up against it other than Toy Story, like I said, which is on its second or third week. It either came out 2 weeks ago or it's on its third week. Either one. But that's the only movie that's coming out that can really rival Millions and Monsters, which isn't really saying much. So I think that movie is for sure gonna do pretty good. Like I said, I have talked about this one before. And while I don't have a lot of interest in seeing it myself, I will say that this one has actually been getting some pretty good reviews from what I've been seeing online. People are saying this is the best film in the franchise since the original Despicable Me. And I'm actually like a really big fan of the first Despicable Me personally. I saw like maybe 30 to 45 minutes of the second Despicable Me and just wasn't really feeling it like that compared to the first one. But people are saying that, this is the best one in the franchise since the original. I feel like that's saying a lot. And just to be completely honest, I don't look at a lot of reviews online. I will like read, different snippets of articles just to get like a general idea of what people think. And the consensus is that whatever they're saying online as far as this being the best one since the original, it seems to ring true. So I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to rush out to see this one. But seeing the dialogue regarding this one online has definitely made me intrigued. So I wouldn't go as far as to say I suggest you guys go see it. But if you are at all interested in the Despicable Me franchise, or if you have children of your own and they like the Minions or whatever the case may be, from what I'm hearing, this one is pretty good, and I'm pretty sure it's going to do pretty good this weekend. So we're starting out the first of this month, which actually released on July 1st. So we're starting it out with Millions and Monsters. Once again, I don't know if I'm going to go see this, but if I do, I'll for sure give you guys a review for that. So moving on from July 1st, we're moving on to our next weekend where we have a couple of movies actually releasing. July 10th, the weekend of July 10th, we actually have 3 movies coming out that same weekend. So I'm going to go down the first one, and this is actually one of the 3 that I'm actually very excited about. It's called The Invite. So I've talked about this one as well on one of my previous episodes because I actually thought that this movie was supposed to release last month in June, at the end of June. Well, which actually would have been this past weekend. I thought it would have been the last weekend of June that this would have released. Apparently, it did release, but only in select theaters. And now, the weekend of July 10th is when it's going to have a wide theatrical release. So, I pretty much gave you guys a rundown of what that movie is about. But for anybody who has not seen that episode, or listened to that episode, I should say, that I put out, I'll kind of give you guys like a rundown of essentially what the movie is about. If you don't remember me talking about it or didn't hear me talking about it, the movie is essentially about a couple, played by Olivia Wilde and what's my guy's name, Seth Rogen. from the trailers that I saw, it seems like their marriage, like, it just isn't doing too well. Let's just say that. And they invite their neighbors over for like a dinner party or something like that. And I'm assuming their neighbors are swingers. And their neighbors, like I told you guys, are played by Edward Norton and Penelope Cruz. So they invite them over for a dinner party. And from what the trailer, how the trailer looks and how the synopsis pretty much breaks it down, the night kind of goes on and they get into some, let's just say, unexpected things, essentially. And with this being an A24 movie as well, I'm assuming there's gonna be some crazy shit that goes down in that house at that dinner party. Cause, like I said, from the trailer, Seth Rogen and Olivia Wilde, you can clearly tell like there's some tension there between them two. And I don't know if they're swingers as well, but from what the trailer shows, Edward Norton and Penelope Cruz for sure are, and they're interested in Seth Rogen and Olivia Wilde for whatever the fuck reason. I don't know what that could be. So like I said, with this being an A24 movie, I can only imagine how that night is gonna go. I'm sure it's gonna be all kind of shenanigans, let's just say. All kind of shit is gonna go down, and I can't wait to see it. I actually been waiting on this one for a couple of months now, and before I even knew that this was gonna be like a, I don't want to say a dual release, but before I knew that it was gonna release the last weekend of June and then the weekend of July 10th with a wider release, I had already been really waiting on this. So me seeing, I'm like, wait, what happened to the invite? So I get on Cinemark and try to buy tickets for it, thinking that's coming out on a specific date, and I'm like, wait, this doesn't come out till July 10th. And then I read on, I'm like, oh, so it's two different releases. So I've been really, really excited for this one, really, really waiting for this one. Everything about this one just looks very fascinating to me, very intriguing. I think you guys would be interested in it as well. If you haven't seen the trailer for the invite, I actually think there's either two or three that are currently out. So just check out either one of them and see if you guys get a feel for it and see if it's something that you think you would enjoy. Because I would definitely suggest this one. Everything about it so far looks pretty good. So it's one that I'm definitely interested in seeing this month. So moving on from the invite on July 10th, then we move on to what's probably gonna, well, there's no probably in it. This is gonna be the biggest movie of that weekend, and this is the live action Moana movie that's also releasing on July 10th. So I don't really have too much to say about this one, to be completely honest with you guys. Like, I won't be going to see this personally. I've never really been personally interested in any of the Moana movies. Just my personal take. I don't really think that's something that really tickles my fancy personally, but I do get that that movie has like a major following with families and different people. I guess that's for sure understand that. And like I said, although I don't have any interest in it, I'm sure a shit ton of other people will. And with just two movies in the series for Moana, like the two animated movies or the two, I guess, yeah, you just say animated movies. It's almost a $2 billion franchise with literally just two films. So that's saying a lot. So with or without me going to see this, somebody's going to go see this, which is essentially the point I'm trying to make. Like, for instance, like my fiance, she says she wants to go see it. I know she's seen the first one and the second one. I think she's only seen the second one in theaters, but she says she for sure wants to see the live action one, and I just personally don't have any interest in it. To be completely honest, when she goes to see the live action Moana movie, I'm probably just gonna go see the invite, and we'll just do it that way. But yeah, I don't really have too much to say. I mean, especially with it's been what, only I think it'll make 10 years this year since the original Moana came out and was released. So them doing a live action remake this soon is a little weird to me. Because if you think about it, all the other live action remakes that we gotten for Disney movies like Lion King, Cinderella, Snow White, like you can go down to not Moana, Mulan, like you can go down the list. None of them came out just 10 years prior to the live action remake. Like they were all like a long time afterwards. So I am a little curious to see if people are gonna have any kind of Moana fatigue. Like we literally just got Moana 2, what was that, 2 years ago? Now we're getting a live action remake of the first Moana. Like it's kind of weird. I never really understood it. And I get that some people are saying it's like a cash grab or something like that, which I don't personally agree with, because I mean these movie companies are companies at the end of the day. They have to make money. And like I said earlier, with only two movies in the series, and it's almost a $2 billion franchise just off of two films, those are crazy numbers. I'd probably want to do a live action remake as well. My only thing is to me, it just seems a little too soon. We literally just got Moana 2 a couple years ago, and now you got a live action Moana for the original that came out 10 years ago. It's just a little weird. So I get it. Some people think it's a cash grab, but I mean, hey, if it's gonna make money and there's a fan base for it, put the shit out. That's how I feel about it. If people want to go see it, if people are still driving and taking their kids and families, and it's always a, obviously Moana is like a cultural thing. Like a lot of people can just find something that's familiar for them as far as a familial thing or a cultural thing. A lot of people love the Moana franchise, so them making this one, it makes sense to me, but I get why to some other people it could just look like a cash grab. My only thing about it is it just seems a little too soon. Like give it at least do it in the 15-year anniversary. I just feel like the 10-year anniversary is just a little too soon, but that's just me. So that's another one that's coming out on July 10th. The third movie that's releasing on July 10th alongside the Moana movie and The Invite as well, you have Evil Dead Burn. So this is another one that I'm not personally interested in. I'm not going to say I won't go see it, but there's probably a good chance that I'll probably skip this one, to be completely honest, especially if The Invite comes out the same day. So I have something to go see that weekend. But Evil Dead Burn is releasing July 10th as well. From everything that I've heard about the Evil Dead, well, I want to say the newer Evil Dead movies, because of course you got the Sam Raimi ones from back in the day. But from everything I've heard about Evil Dead Rise from 2023, which is still just crazy to say. Like, time is flying by. I feel like that movie literally came out like a year or two ago, but it's been 3 years. That's crazy. But everybody said that Evil Dead Rise, who saw it, was like, they said it was really good. And I remember from CinemaCon that year, one of the standouts that everybody was talking about, like, I cannot wait to go see this movie, blah, 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 was Evil Dead Rise. And I'm hearing a lot of the same things from CinemaCon this year, from 2026. A lot of people are saying, Evil Dead Burn, from whatever footage that they showed. I can't remember if it was a trailer or like a actual whole scene or just clips. I don't remember for sure. But I do remember a lot of people saying that Evil Dead Burn was another movie that they were looking forward to seeing this year. So for all my horror fans, this is gonna be one for you guys. Like I'm sure this one will be just as good as everybody said the last one was. Evil Dead is not like a big money making franchise, but at the same time, the way I look at it, 2026, and I'm not even a big horror fan like that. Like I do love a good horror movie, but I don't rush out to see every single one like a lot of other people do. But just from the ones that I've seen this year, or the ones that just intrigue me in a way, like kind of like Obsession, like I'm still upset that I missed Obsession when it came out. I don't know if it's still on its theatrical run. I know for sure you could buy it on digital or rent it on digital. But I don't know for sure if it's still playing in theaters, but that was one that I missed because, of course, I have to see a lot of movies to keep up with everything. And there's a lot of movies that I'm just interested in. Some of them I don't even get a chance to review on the show just because I'm just, a fan of cinema. But I did miss Obsession, but I saw Backrooms. Actually, Backrooms just released again with 15 extra minutes of footage. But there's been so many horror movies this year, from the new Scream movie, Obsession, Backrooms, 28 years later, Bone Temple. Like, there's been so many horror movies this year that I think the horror genre is just on a fucking roll right now. So I can really see Evil Dead Burn bringing in more money, if it's good, that is, bringing in more money than even the last one made. Because I actually think the last one made about, I think it was like 130 million, or was it like 180 million, something like that. Like, it didn't do crazy numbers, but you got to think a lot of these horror movies, like, they don't get created with the biggest of budgets. Like, these aren't MCU movies, these aren't Marvel movies. These are smaller, the whole thing is set in like one house type of thing. Like, these are usually smaller budgets. So if you can find some way to churn out 130 or 180, whatever it made, $1 million based off of let's say $10 to $15 million budget, hey, that's a successful day at the office. Like, you're always gonna pat yourself in the back for something like that. And like I said, with the horror genre just being on a fucking roll this year the way it is, I can see a lot of people being just as excited to see Evil Dead Burn as they have been for a lot of the other horror movies this year. So I'm gonna be very curious to see how that movie does and see what the reactions are once we get a little bit closer to the release. So once again, there are 3 movies releasing the weekend of July 10th: The Invite, live action Moana movie, and Evil Dead Burn. So that's gonna be a pretty stacked weekend. Everybody can find something they love. You got a familiar movie with Moana, you got your horror movie with Evil Dead, and you got your date movie with The Invite. So moving on from July 10th, we're going to move on to July 17th. Okay. I told you guys it's a couple of big dogs this year. It's some big dogs releasing this year. July 17th is the release date of one of them ravenous dogs, and that is The Odyssey. The Odyssey is one of my most anticipated movies of not only this year. I've been looking forward to this movie since 2 years ago. Before I even heard, well, this was around the time that Oppenheimer, I think, was like a year in the past, because I think Oppenheimer was 2023. So I think around 2024 is when we started really hearing things about the Odyssey, and just everything that I was hearing from then on to now. I've been over the fucking moon for this movie. Like everything about, even from, and I've talked about this multiple times, but even the way that they shot this movie, Christopher Nolan actually invented a new IMAX camera just to shoot this from, if I remember correctly, 100% in IMAX, like from start to finish, shot in IMAX format and on IMAX cameras, which I don't think has been done before. I know a lot of movies have shot like predominantly on IMAX, but I want to say, I may be wrong. Go down in the comments and correct me if you guys, know otherwise. But I think this is the first movie in cinema history to be shot from beginning to end with IMAX cameras. So just me being a nerd about stuff like that and just film in general, that's always going to get me on board. It's Christopher Nolan. It's one of the greatest directors of all time. It's Matt Damon and Hathaway, Robert Pattinson, Tom Holland, Zendaya, John Bernthal, Ryan Hurst, fucking Travis Scott is in this movie for whatever the fuck reason. I don't know, but they put him in this shit. He's in the movie too. Like, I don't even think I need to really break this one down. I know we all have heard about the Odyssey. We're all waiting for this one. And if you're not, you need to get on board, because this is going to be one of the big dogs, like I said. Whether good or bad, in my opinion, whether good or bad, I think this is going to be one of the movies where, like, years from now, you're going to be like, where were you when Odyssey came out? Because I know what I was. And did you go see it in theaters? Because I know I did. I think it's going to be one of those type of movies. Kind of like Oppenheimer. Like, I remember Barbenheimer being a thing. Like, everybody was like, hey, which one you seeing first? Not are you seeing one or the other. Which one are you going to see first, and what are you wearing? That was like a big thing then. Like, that's a fun thing to look back on years now. It's only been 3 years, but we're still talking about the whole Barbenheimer thing. Like, I think the Odyssey is kind of going to be the same way. Because if you really think about it, Christopher Nolan has given us, yeah, he hasn't touched every single genre of film like somebody like Steven Spielberg. Like, Steven Spielberg has done musicals. He just made his third or fourth Alien movie. He's done action movies. He's done suspense. He's done romance. He's done literally everything. So we know for sure somebody like Steven Spielberg can do anything. I am very curious to see the Odyssey, because I never would have thought that I would have been excited to see a Swords and Sandal movie the way that I am. And for all of y'all that don't know, Swords and Sandal was kind of like 300 or Gladiator or something like that. Literally swords clashing and you're wearing sandals. It's literally what it is. So the Odyssey is essentially the same thing. But I never would have thought that I would be as excited for a Swords and Sandal movie as I am. And I know I'm not alone, clearly, because the hype online, the buzz for this movie is through the fucking roof. This is going to be one of the big dogs, like I said. And I don't think, just to go out on a limb, I don't think this is going to be like top 3 box office movie of the year. I don't, but I do for sure think it's going to be like, it's for sure going to be top 10. I just don't know where I put it. Maybe number 5 on the list or something like that, which I could be wrong about. If I just had to nail it to the wall now, I'd probably say like 5 or something like that. But even still, I feel like the talk for this movie, the suspense around this movie, like everybody's just wondering how this movie is going to turn out. And if we just look at how, AMC and Fandango and all the theater companies were crashing just from them releasing the premium format tickets, like this wasn't even like normal movie tickets. It was the premium formats, and everything and everywhere is crashing. Everybody is doing everything they can to get tickets, and even fucking reselling the tickets. Like, what? Aftermarket reselling movie tickets? That's just still weird to me. I can't believe that was a thing that happened. But it happened for this film. So, yeah, July 17th is creeping ever close. It's going to be here before you know it. The Odyssey is a movie that you are going to want to be in a theater for. I have my tickets. I will be there. I hope to see you there. This is going to be one of them ones. Once again, this is going to be one of the big dogs. You're not going to want to miss out on this one. To be completely honest, it's 2 movies this month that I'm going to say there's kind of the same things for. The Odyssey is one of them. Y'all probably already know what the other one is, and I'm, of course, going to talk about that one a little later in the video. But it's 2 movies this month. That's 2 of the big dogs for this whole year. The Odyssey is going to be the first one. So make sure you're there. I don't want to see you 3 or 4 weeks after the Odyssey came out asking me what did I think about it. You should know what I think about it because you should have listened to this podcast, and I should know what you thought about it because we should already have talked about it because you saw it as well. Don't lag ass on this one, okay? If you don't got tickets, go get them now. So July 17th, once again, the Odyssey is releasing. Be there. So moving on from the Odyssey, moving on from the weekend on July 17th, there's another movie that I only recently learned about. I had never heard anything about this movie until I saw the trailer pop up on my YouTube timeline this is maybe about a week ago now, but it's called Motor City. So Motor City is a movie starring Alan Ritchson. If you don't know who Alan Ritchson is, that's that big ass dude who plays in a lot of movies. He's just out when he walks in. There's a presence about him. I think I've never seen the show, but I think he's in a show called Reacher, I want to say, and he plays the main character. But he's the big ass dude in Hollywood that just essentially beats the shit out of everybody who comes on screen. Essentially, there's no other way for me to put it, to be completely honest. But Alan Ritchson stars in this movie, and I'll read you guys the synopsis for it. Because like I said, I literally just found out about this a couple of weeks ago, and I really want to see it just from seeing the trailer. But I'll give you guys the synopsis. So the synopsis reads as, in the 1970s Detroit, John Miller, who I'm assuming is Alan Ritchson, of course, falls for a local gangster's girl and lands in prison for a crime he didn't commit. With his life ruined, Miller hatches a plan for revenge. So just from watching the trailer, to be completely honest, I only remember a couple of lines of dialogue. And I'm saying that to make a very clear statement. This movie is one of them, as I told you guys, my mom used to call them back in the day, shoot 'em up, bang bang movies, and that's exactly what the fuck I'm looking for sometimes. Sometimes I just need something like a John Wick. Like, his wife died, his wife left him with a puppy, bad guys broke in, killed the puppy. Craziness ensues. That's all I need. I don't always need some kind of plot twist or some kind of heel turn. I don't need that. Sometimes I just need to turn my brain off, give me the premise, give me the plot, and let's just roll through the rest of the movie. I just want to see some whoop ass. And this movie looks like a lot of that. From what I saw from the trailer, it essentially looks like a lot of over the top performances, at least from an acting standpoint, mixed with some real over the top action. And if I remember correctly, once again, I could be wrong. If you guys know, put down in the comments and correct me. But I want to say some of the people that worked on John Wick worked on this movie as well. I could be wrong, but I feel like I remember seeing something like that. But even if they didn't, this movie is still very reminiscent of things that you saw in John Wick. Yeah, it's not. It didn't look to me. It didn't look to be, I should say, as like kind of like over stylized as John Wick, because he's like he could use any weapon. Like, he has all kind of martial art skills and all kind of stuff like that. This just looks like Alan Ritchson beating the shit out of people and then shooting them after he done whooping their ass. This is what this movie looks like to me. And sometimes that's all I need. Like, we're fans of the Fast and the Furious franchise. I just want to see Dominic Toretto headbutt somebody with that dome piece he got and then run him over with a car. Like, that's all I want to see. Sometimes I want to turn my brain off, get some good action, and just let the movie take me wherever it wants to take me. I mean, if we see the movie and it's bad, then it's bad. But sometimes, like I said, you just want to turn your brain off and just enjoy a good action movie. And I'm always a fan of a good action / crime / thriller genre type of movie. Like, one of my favorite movies is Training Day. Like, one of my all-time favorites. And my actual favorite movie character is Denzel Washington's character, Alonzo, in that movie. So this is right up my alley. You give me somebody selling cocaine and somebody stole the cocaine. You got to find out who did it, and everybody's kid. I love stuff like that. So Motor City is a movie that I would 100% suggest to you guys. And that's just off of one trailer. I would suggest it. That's another movie this month that I'm going to make sure I got an ass in the seat, and I'm going to make sure I go see this movie. You guys should go watch the trailer as well and see exactly what I'm talking about. But I think you guys would enjoy this one as well, just from what I'm hearing. So once again, July 24th, Motor City. So moving on from Motor City, there is one final movie to talk about this month, which is another big dog, as I like to call it, for this year. That movie, of course, is Spider-Man Brand New Day. Now, I have recently spoken about this movie, I want to say in maybe 2 or 3 of my last episodes. So I've been talking about it a lot. And I've been talking about it a lot because there's been a lot surrounding this movie. Nothing bad, of course, but, well, here or there. There were a couple of leaks, but that's going to happen with movies of this stature. It's just always gonna happen. There's nothing you're gonna be able to do about that. But anyway, Spider-Man Brand New Day is the last movie of this month. It literally releases on July 31st. This is gonna be what I consider to be one of the biggest movies of the year. Like, it's gonna be 1-2 between this and Avengers Doomsday. I told you guys that I think that this one is gonna be number two, but I gave you all my reasoning as to why I think it could be number one, but I think it's gonna even out at number two for the biggest movie, second biggest movie of the year. I don't even think I really need to go into detail for this. It's a Spider-Man movie. And I told you guys how I feel about Spider-Man and Spider-Man movies. Like, every time a new live action Spider-Man movie is released, and I said live action specifically because I like the Spider-Verse movies. Do not get me wrong. I really like them. But it doesn't give me the same feeling that a live action one does. Like, every time a new live action Spider-Man movie is released, it always takes me back, which I've told you guys before, to when I was a kid, seeing Sam Raimi's Spider-Man all the way back in 2002 when my dad took me. That movie made me fall in love with not only the character, but more importantly, it made me fall in love with the theatrical experience itself. Like, so anytime a new Spider-Man movie drops, like, for me, it's a personal holiday. Like, it's something I take very seriously. And of course, we're getting another one. It looks like Tom Holland is back to the roots of what Spider-Man is. We getting organic web shooters. Like, we got mechanical web shooters and organic web shooters. Like, I feel like a lot of things that I'm seeing in this movie is just them giving the fans what the fuck we've been asking for. Let him be broke. Like, I don't want him to be around Tony Stark. Like, that was cool for the first movie, but they drug it a little bit. I need him to be broke, miserable, trying to figure out how am I gonna pay rent, like how am I gonna be able to figure out protecting the city. And well, even though we've never really seen Uncle Ben, there's been a lot of alluding to him. So let's just assume the same thing happened with him that happened with everybody else. He got murdered. So him dealing with that, him dealing with his responsibilities, is it too much on me? I want MJ back, but I can't have MJ and be Spider-Man because that's literally what the last movie was about. He had to get rid of her to be who he was, to keep her safe. Like, it's so many different things that we seem to be getting in this movie that we're, of course, used to getting from the character of Spider-Man. Like, he's kind of like the everyman. You can see yourself in him. We've all dealt with different trials and tribulations in our own lives. Whether or not all of them that he has, you've dealt with at least one of the things he's dealt with as far as, like, should I keep doing this? Should I stop? Is this making me happy, or is this taking away from something that's truly going to make me happy as far as a relationship standpoint or a career standpoint, or just holding myself to a certain standard like he does with Uncle Ben and just trying to be the best person he can be while tackling and having all these things on his shoulders. That's why Spider-Man is so relatable. And even though he gets beat down over and over and over again, he gets back up and he keeps trying. That's why we root for him. That's why we like to see him go through all his trials and tribulations, like I said, on film, because we can kind of see ourselves in him. So everything that I'm seeing from this movie, and that's just from a story standpoint. Let's get to the nerdy shit. We got the Punisher. We got the Hulk. We got the Hand. We got so many different things. Scorpion is in this movie. Tarantula is in this movie. Boomerangs is in this movie. There's so many different things to look forward to. And just look like we're just getting the OG Marvel MCU vibes back. Like, I know, and I've spoken about this as well. I know a lot of people have been really down on Marvel and the MCU as of late in the last couple of years. But from everything that I'm seeing from Spider-Man Brand New Day and everything that I'm hearing, and not even talking about leaks, but everything that I'm hearing about Avengers Doomsday, it just seems like we are going to be back in a new renaissance for the MCU and for Marvel. Like, it just looks like everything is just panning out perfectly for Marvel. And there's just so many things. Oh, I forgot fucking Tombstone is in this movie. Like, there's so many things to look forward to from a story standpoint, from a action standpoint, from character standpoint, from a nerdy standpoint with all the character. Like, it's just so much to look forward to with this movie, and so many people are excited. And I just love to see that. To be completely honest, I don't even remember how old I was in 2002. What was I, 7? So just seeing like the 7-year-old me being able to luckily live to be healthy and be 30 years old to see this movie release, and seeing people like my nephews and my friends, they have kids and they're excited to see. Like, I just love to see that something like how we felt about Spider-Man when we were kids lives on. Kind of like how I felt when Toy Story was released. Like, seeing everybody walking around with Buzz toys and Woody toys. Like, I was that kid as well. And seeing that something like Spider-Man or Toy Story, but let's just stay on the topic of Spider-Man, seeing that can just live on, and I can see my 7-year-old self in somebody else's kid, and they're going to be just as excited to go see this movie in the theaters as I am or as I was when I was a kid. Like I could argue that without me, if I never saw Sam Raimi's Spider-Man way back in 2002 when I was 6 or 7, I could argue that I wouldn't even be doing this podcast right now. That's how important that movie was to me and my development and just being a film fan. That was my first time going to the theaters. So I really remember. I remember the whole day from top to bottom. I had Spider-Man on from head to toe, like Spider-Man shirt, shorts, and shoes. Like that was such a major thing for me, and I cannot put into words how excited I am for this movie. And I know that you guys are going to be the same. So I'm going to go down the list of everything to look forward to in July. I'm going to go down the list real quick again just to give you guys another rundown. So July 1st, well, technically now, if you want to go see it, Minions and Monsters is now officially out. If you guys want to go see that, you can go see it now. Today is Friday. Hey, go see it. Have a time. You might see me there. You might not. I don't know. I'm still undecided with Minions and Monsters. But so we got Minions and Monsters at July 1st. We got 3 movies coming out July 10th, which is The Invite, live action Moana movie, and Evil Dead Burn. So moving on from July 10th, then you have July 17th. We got the big dog. We got one of the big bros for this year. We got the Odyssey, July 17th. Make sure you're there for that. Moving on from that, you got Motor City coming out July 24th. And then, of course, to cap the month off, we got one of the biggest dogs. I'm talking about Ravenous, a rabid, foam out the mouth dogs of this year. Spider-Man Brand New Day. Make sure you are there for all of these movies. You may see me for some of these, you may not. I told you, like something like Moana, you're not going to see me there, even though you'll see me in theater. I just won't be going to see that. But you might see me there for some movies on this list. I hope to see you guys there. We've had a phenomenal year this year when it comes to film. Like, there were movies that I was excited for. There were some that I didn't really care for that ended up being amazing. Like, I feel like I haven't really seen a lot of bad movies this year. And even the ones that everybody says are bad, like Supergirl or what was the other one that I reviewed? Oh, Michael. I'm like, so Michael got a 30, what a 19%, whatever it got on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck y'all watch. But that movie was amazing. I didn't think Supergirl was amazing, but I did really enjoy it still. I still would see it again. I just didn't put out a review for you guys because I just didn't feel like it, to be completely honest. But it's been a phenomenal year for film, and it's only going to get better from here. Obviously, we're moving into July. There's so much to look forward to into July. But I really love doing these episodes, and specifically because I really like to give you guys kind of like a rundown of movies that you probably haven't heard of or haven't seen the trailer for or just probably forgot about. So I like to give you guys a reminder and let you know, hey, this is another stacked month. So make sure you're in the theater like you were last month because there's a lot to look forward to. So I really enjoy doing these. I will, of course, do one for August, September, so on and so forth. But I really have a lot of fun making these episodes in particular, and I hope you guys enjoy listening to them as well. But that's all I got for today. Make sure you got asses and seats for July. I got nothing else to say. So until next time, peace.